Best person I would want to run into is a New Jersey State Trooper.
Did you see
just
that
like
tackle?
That.
Oh, and the other guy's knocked down.
They're actually hitting harder than the Jets defense. I'll tell you that one kid may be just absolutely knocked out on the 26-yard line, Kevin. That was just a unbelievable hit by a New Jersey State Trooper who came in right in behind him. Don't be messing with the State Troopers, man. I'm telling you.
They don't play that game.
Wow, they do not.
Here he is to save the day, but wrapping it up in his special way. Throw in a preview show. Add some alcohol and here we go. Senor Batman, Senor Batman, Senor Batman, Senor Batman, Senor Batman, Senor Batman, Senor Batman.
Hola, senors! It is I, Senor Batman, and I am here with your Week 13 wrap-up, your Week 14 preview show, but more importantly, in the middle somewhere, we're going to do the playoff preview show. So, big episode this week. Last week was the last week of the regular season, and now we move into the playoffs in the consolation bracket. We will determine a champion. We will determine a Sacco. We will determine, who gets what money. We'll determine a lot of stuff. So, without further ado, let's just wrap up Week 13, don't you think? So we can get to the preview show and talk about playoffs. Playoffs? Playoffs. Wrap up! Alright, so, first up, you had Chronic Rosterbaiter versus Beaterson. Adrian Beaterson, well, he gets a Beaterson of his own. Chronic Rosterbaiter wins 126.1 to 110.6. Chronic Rosterbaiter finishes 11-2. Beaterson finishes at 6-7. Which is funny because last year 6-7 was enough to make the playoffs. So, but he missed out. But we'll get to that in a minute. Next up, you got Blowhack's Pit of Pure Shit losing to hashtag Wide Receivers Matter. He finishes the second half of the season with a lot of losses there. Ends up 8-5, 84.1 points. Going in the playoffs, limping into the playoffs. I mean, he's the second seed, but regardless, he kind of limped into the playoffs, so we'll see what happens there. Wide Receivers Matter goes out with a boom with a 126.3. I'd say that he's probably one of the favorites in the consolation bracket. He's starting to kind of put some good weeks together here at the end of the season. Maybe he can end up winning 7th place and winning the consolation bracket, but we'll see. Next up, I'm Sofa King We Totted gets his second win over Slay City Slayers, another team that's in the playoffs. Slay City Slayers 5-8 makes the playoffs because of high scores that he put together with points. Finishes 5-8, not very good, but makes the playoffs. Sofa King Retarded makes it at 2-11 with his record. He doesn't make the playoffs, but he makes a 2-11 record, gets 2 wins in the whole season. 1-11 isn't a score to scoff at, so we'll see what happens there for him in the ladder. Based on his record, you'd think he's a favorite for the Sacco, but with the points scored, maybe not. Next up, Richmond Rush beats Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Finished 2-11. Not a good season. You suck this year, bro. 115.3 isn't a bad score, but another loss means you are 2-11. Looked like he was actually going to challenge Richmond Rush for the win there for a little bit. Richmond Rush ends up pulling it out with a 127.3. A nice solid score going into the playoffs for him. He's 11-2 on the season. Next up, El fucking Sacco, 124.8 rake session with an under 100 point score going into the playoffs. That's not what you want. 94.2, little bit of a struggle. Thomas Rawls, 24.3, giving El Sacco the victory. Sacco finishes 6-7, makes that playoffs. Rake session also in the playoffs, finishes 10-3. What was I saying about El Sacco last week? Motherfucker, I'm gonna kick your ass. Sokodek. He came running in, and he gets the big win. Some people would probably call that an upset. Rake Session hadn't lost in 6 games. Loses on the 7th one. He could have, tied for the record for longest win streak this year. Instead, he loses. It'll be interesting to see how that shakes out in the playoffs, but El Sacco gets the victory for this week. Finally, your high score of the week, Ray Charles Moneyball, 156.3, a huge score. He had the highest score of the season, too, so he didn't make the playoffs. Just didn't. On the weeks where he didn't score high, he must have scored really low, and he misses the playoffs. Martial Law, 108.7, a good season for him as well, just misses the playoffs. He's finishes 6 and 7. So let's go to the standings. All right, so final standings based on record are Chronic Roster Baiter 11 and 2, Blowhack, Pure Shit 8 and 5, Peterson, Adrian Peterson finishes 6 and 7, Slicey Slayers at 5 and 8, hashtag White Receivers Matter at 4 and 9. I'm so fucking retarded at 2 and 11. You go by points though. Your highest scorer of the year was Chronic Roster Baiter. Then you had Slay City Slayers. Then hashtag White Receivers Matter. I'm so fucking retarded. Peterson. Dream Peterson. And then the lowest score, not just in the division, but in the league, was Blowhack's Pit of Pure Shit. But he gets lucky. He gets real lucky, and he makes the playoffs despite having, let me scroll this up, you probably can't see it, the lowest score in the league. You can see, even if you short this one, he's still short a little bit. He wasn't the lowest points against. That was Chronic Roster Baiter, but Chronic Roster Baiter is also the highest score in the league. So we'll see how that would have done. 9 and 1 in his division. So he's had 2 losses, I think, in the season. The other was against Mikko. So he lost to Mikko, and he lost to I'm so fucking retarded this year. But regardless, he finishes as the high scorer in Division Uno. Division Dos, as you can see, Richmond Rush finishes as the season leader in both record and points. Actually, no, let's go back to record. That's how I did on the other one. Why would I switch it now, right? Richmond Rush, 11 and 2. Same record as Chronic Roster Baiter. Keep something in mind. Roster Baiter won the league last year. Know who was runner-up? Richmond Rush. Both teams, gotta say they're the favorites based on record and points scored. Led their division in record and points scored. So, Rakestraw kind of had a bad week. Still 10 and 3. He can't really get on his case for that. Then you got Ray Charles Moneyball at 7 and 6. El Sacco, who made the playoffs based on points, which you can see down here, second highest scorer. He's 6 and 7, as well as Martial Law. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles just wasn't his season. Had a lot of people, not do what they were supposed to do. Eric Decker got hurt. Macklin was gone for a little bit, 2 and 11. As far as points, like I was saying, Richmond Rush, he is your high scorer. El Sacco was second, overtaking Rakestraw's position where he was up there. Rake Session finishes third in points. Ray Charles Moneyball not too far behind him. And then you got Martial Law. And finally, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So there's your points. Now, this is probably logged into the commissioner's Facebook. So, excuse me. I don't have my own Facebook. He runs my Facebook from his Facebook. And it's a whole thing. Like, fuck Facebook. I don't give a shit about that crap. Season tracker, here it is. First up, your weekly high scorer was McGovern. Actually, no, this wasn't updated yet. So I apologize, but I know this by heart. So, McGovern was your high scorer for week 13. The King of the Hill 2, Mikkel won King of the Hill round 2, as he won Survivor, so that's that. The Survivor is already done. High score total for the season was McFadden, Chronic Roster Baiter. Highest single week score, still stay with McGovern, no one topped that. Largest margin of victory, no one topped that. That stays the same. Longest win streak stays the same. Mikkel and McFadden tie. Division winners were Mikkel and McFadden. And that's basically it. So, that is your wrap up for week 13. Let's get to the preview show, where we will start with the playoff previews and then roll into week 14. Let's go and do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it now. Preview it good. Do that preview just like you should. Go. Preview show. Okay, so you might be saying, Senor, why is it in full screen? Usually we have the screen with the matchups. Well, we can do the playoff preview first. Were you not listening to us a minute ago? Were you like, drunk as a skunk? I mean, come on, be a functional drunk if you're going to drink. Anywho, so I want to roll down the 6 teams that could win the championship this year. So I want to start off with Chronic Rosterbaiter, last year's champion, looking for the repeat. Can he do it? We'll find out. Highest scorer of the whole entire league this year, best, tied for best record. He has had a very good season. He's got a pretty good team. He could do it, but that's where he is. He's looking for the repeat. I'm trying to go through everyone's motivations of these 6. Like, what's their story? Like, for the people that aren't in the top 6, who are you rooting for? And that's why I'm going to get to you. It's like, what's their story? So if you're rooting for Chronic Rosterbaiter, it's because it's the repeat. He already won last year. He got his first victory. He made it. He barely made it last year. This year, he stormed through the league to the playoffs. Can he keep it up and win his second title in his career and his second in a row? Then you got Mr. John Mickle, a.k.a. Richmond Rush. You're like, Richmond Rush, I remember him. He finished second. No, you don't. You don't remember who finished his second. And that's why Richmond Rush wants to get the victory this year. Richmond Rush faced Chronic Rosterbaiter in the championship last year and came up short. Not very short, just a little short. A little bit better performance from his players that day. He would be sitting there being champion. Hold on, there we go. He'd be sitting there being champion. So, the question becomes, can John Mickle close the deal this year? He comes in as the first seed in Division Dos. He comes in looking like a good team again. He's had pretty good scores going into the playoffs. So, can he come into the playoffs, work his way through, and win the championship this year? So, for him, it's can he get revenge for last year? Then, your next one is Mr. Patrick Bohack, a.k.a. Bohack's Pit of Pure Shade. And you might be saying, man, that's a weird name he chose. Well, he got renamed this year. I mean, he was 8-5, lowest score in the whole entire league, and made the playoffs. So his story is he's an underdog. He faces good teams, and his team just somehow irks out the victory, or the team he faces has a rough week, and all the players underperform, and he just somehow ekes out the win. Now, that's kind of worn off in the second half of this season. He's not been as effective as he was. So the question becomes, can he reclaim that magic he had in the first half of the season and win it all? And another thing with him is he's never been in the playoffs in the league history. This is his first appearance, but he's won the consolation bracket every year of this league. Every year. Can he bring that luck he's had in the past in the postseason to the playoffs and win a championship? We will find out. Next up, your second seed in Division Dos, Mr. Michael Rakestraw. Michael Rakestraw is a pioneer in this league. He's a guy who's a very respectable man, and he is here for his last season if he sticks to what he's planning to do. He plans to leave my league. And you know what, Mr. Rakestraw? You told me to suck a dick? Suck my dick. Suck my dick. How about suck both my dicks, okay? You're like, wait, you have 2 dicks? No, I don't have 2 dicks. We can suck it twice, okay? Anywho, Mr. Rakestraw has never won the championship in this league. He's won many championships far and wide. He's been a multi-time champion, but he's never done it in this league. And his story is, if he is truly leaving us, which would be a very, very sad day, even though he told me to suck a dick, that's a very, very sad day. Can he do it? And if he does leave, does he walk out a champion? Does he retire from this league, even if it's not forever? If it is forever, then it's forever. If it's not forever, does he leave his legacy in this league that he won the championship and walked into the sunset? We will see. Your wild card from Division Uno is Mr. Slacy Slayers. He is a past champion. He is a guy that has just been a very up and down and all-around season. Started really bad, started picking up in the middle, and been kind of rocky all the way into the playoffs. So he's in the playoffs, but his team isn't very strong hasn't looked very strong for long stretches of time. He just needs to put 3 games together, and he could be a 2-time champion. The first ever 2-time champion. Can he do it? Kind of an underdog story there, too, because his team has just been kind of all over the place. But regardless, can he do it? Made it in on points. Can he take his team and get a good enough squad together for 3 straight weeks to win a championship? His second one. Finally, your 6th seed. That is Mr. Nicholas Bartos, a.k.a. El Sacco. His story? Worst team in the league last year because he was the Sacco. Ended up being El Sacco. Has the picture of me with the tequila and all that. Can he come back from worst to first? That is the story there. From worst to first. Can he pull it off? He's going to come out and he is going to just guns blazing, like I've been saying. Middle fingers flying. Fuck you! I am the Sacco. I'm the champion. That's going to be him. He is coming for blood. He's going right for the jugular on all these guys because he wants to win his first championship after Jordy Nelson. Everyone always knows the story. If Jordy Nelson didn't drop the pass 2 years ago, he'd be champion. Well, guess what? He has another opportunity to prove. And Jordy Nelson isn't on his team. He doesn't have Roger. He doesn't have anyone. Will there be a new player that costs him? Or will he win the championship? That is what we're looking at here. So you got Rosterbader going for the repeat. Mikkel going for the revenge. You got Bohack as the underdog. The guy that's not very high-scoring team. Can he pull off the upset? You got Rakestraw trying to walk off in the sunset possibly with the trophy under his arm. You got Slacy Slayers who's trying to win his second championship and relive past glory, but this time with not such a dominant team. And you got Mr. Nick Bartos trying to go from worst to first. 6 pretty good stories, really. A lot of storylines going there, and we will cover all of them. So I'm going to quickly call this person back, and then we'll get to the Week 14 preview. So it's going to be me talking, and then all of a sudden it's going to be like, boom, I'm going to be here again. So the screen's going to be different. So I'm not going to put a little, connector in the middle, preview. No, I'm not going to do that, okay? So, 1 second, right now. And I'm back. All right. So, Week 14, a.k.a. playoffs, round 1. Chronic Rosterbader and Richmond Rush both have a bye week. They automatically make it to round 2. So let's look at round 1. First off, Rake Session versus Slay City Slayers. Now, according to Slay City Slayers, Rake Session has never beat him. So that's kind of interesting. Let's look at the box score, because why the hell would we be looking at anything else? But looking at their lineups, they project Rake Session to really kind of give Slay City Slayers a decent beatdown. Now, they both lost their last games going into the playoffs, so no real momentum going on. But Rakestraw's 10-3. He's won 5 more games than him. It's like, what the hell is going on here, So, we'll see what happens there. But, wait, how does that work? Oh, yeah, I guess it's effective. Anyhow, so, first up on Rake Session, you got Matt Ryan versus LA. Should be decent, you would think. Murray versus Denver should be good. Denver does not have a good run defense. Booker, if he can get in the end zone, should be solid. Tennessee does have a good defense, though. Same thing with Demarius Thomas. Murray Cooper, he's all over the place. We'll see what happens. Kansas City does have pretty good pass defense. Greg Olsen hasn't really done nothing as of late. You're like, wait, what are you talking about? Greg Olsen's the greatest. No, he hasn't done shit. In the past, 8, 9, 10, look at me. Week 9 is the only week he had something good in the past while here. So, we'll see what he does. Watkins, very much a dart throw. I mean, it's like, what is he going to do? Robert Kelly against Philly. We'll see what happens there. Falcons D against LA should be good. And Matt Prater. Over here, Drew Brees versus Tampa. Tampa's been playing pretty good lately. So, for him and Ingram, for that matter, interesting. Jonathan Stewart versus San Diego. Stewart, who knows? Same thing with him. Crabtree, same thing as Cooper. We don't know what's going to happen. Crowder dealing with the hip pointer, but he's going to play. Against Philly, we'll see what happens. Philly was pretty good in pass defense earlier in the season, but have gotten better. Last time Crowder faced Philly, he had 11 points. So, basically because he got a touchdown. Vernon Davis at tight end. Unless, what's-his-face plays, Jordan Reed. Let's see if he's going to play. Look good today. So, looking better, but we'll see. Thielen as his flex is very interesting. I don't know how that's going to work. Benches Allen Robinson. I guess we will see. I gotta say, as much as it's very interesting, I think Stacey Slayer's run ends this week. Rake Session gets the victory and moves one step closer to the trophy this week. Next up, Bohack's Pit of Pure Shit versus El Sacco. El Sacco has been on a tear, and with his one win, Blowhack has lost 2 times straight. Sorry, I got a funny text message. Someone told me to bring them 2 cases of tequila. Oh, we're going to get so fucked up. Anyhow, Blowhack's got Russell Wilson against Green Bay. Should be a good matchup. Green Bay usually plays Seattle tough. We will see. Lamar Miller is dealing with all kinds of injuries, so even though he's got a good matchup against Indy, last time he faced them had a huge week, I believe. Nope, that's not what I was looking for. Charts, video, news, overview. There we go. Last time he faced Indy, he had like 31 points. Can he do it again? I don't know. But he's dealing with injury, so that's really going to kind of shape it up. Asiata needs to fall in the end zone for that to matter. Brandon Cooks versus Tampa. Tampa's been playing better. So Cooks also is all over the place. So we will see. Jordan Matthews, I don't know if I trust him. Even against Washington, I don't know. But Darius Green is kind of a... he's like the... Think about the options on that team. You got Le'Veon Bell, which is on his opponent's team. He's Antonio Brown. They got Sammy Coates. They got a bunch of guys in the Darius Green. So the ball is going to kind of get spread around a little bit, especially in the passing game. So Green could do good, but he could also do bad. Moncrief versus Houston. We will see. He's done very well. You expect some aggression, but we will see. Cole Beasley has been solid. Chiefs D against Oakland. That could be interesting. And then Matt Bryant is his kicker. Over here, Tom Brady versus Baltimore. Very, very interesting matchup there. Baltimore is probably one of the best, if not the best, defense in the league. Tom Brady, can he persevere and overcome them on Monday Night Football? We will see. Le'Veon Bell versus Buffalo should be okay. Thomas Rawls against Green Bay should be at least decent, you would think. Green Bay is a decent run defense, but Rawls is basically all they got. Julio Jones against LA should be good as long as he plays. Michael Thomas against Tampa Bay, same thing. I don't know. I feel like Thomas has probably got the best chance of doing something good, but it doesn't mean he will. Gresham, really kind of just him throwing a dart at the tight end position, although I think he's been decent lately. Let's take a look. Yeah, he's been decent the last few weeks. Can he keep it up? That's the real question. Panthers D and Taylor Gabriel, Tim Hightower, all decent plays. I mean, decent, whereas Hightower and Gabriel, you really need to do something. So, let me just say this. I see where Blowhack's Pit of Pure Shit could pull out the victory. There's some players over here that I'm kind of going, is he going to, could they do this? Could guy could do really bad? But I'm kind of wondering, but there's a lot of players over here that do the same thing. So, but I got to stick with what they're projecting because I think that's what's going to happen. I think El Sacco gets the victory, but I don't think he'll score 120 points. I think this is going to be a game where it's going to be who can score close to 100 points because I don't think either of these teams are going to go over 100. So we will see what happens, but I think El Sacco moves on to the playoffs for the victory. So if that is the case, go back to the scoreboard. Where are you? Scoreboard. If that were to happen, so these seeds here, ignore those seeds. They're not the real seeding. Because really, the real seeding is this. So Chronic Racer is 1, Richmond Rush is 2. So that's right. Rake Session is 3, Bohack is 4, but Sacco is 5, and Slacy Sailors is 6. So if that were to happen, Sacco would be 5, Rakestraw is 3, if what happens to me is right. If that were the case, Richmond Rush would face Rake Session, Chronic Rosserbader would face El Sacco, and that is how the matchups would work there. So it'd be Rosserbader versus El Sacco to see who goes to the finals, and Rake Session versus Richmond Rush to see who goes to the finals. The consolation ladder, it's consolation, so we're going to go a little bit quicker for this one. You got Martial Law versus Ray Charles Moneyball, and Ray Charles Moneyball has been on fire. Like last week, he scored a shit ton of points, 2 straight wins. Martial Law's 2 straight losses. His team's just kind of starting to fall apart. Well, not really fall apart, just not scoring the points it needs to score when it needs to. Luck against Houston. Last time he faced them, I believe he had a pretty decent game. See, Houston 23, so solid. I mean, he's been a solid quarterback this year, really. Elliott against the Giants should be good. Howard versus Detroit, honestly, should be good. I feel like that should be a good thing. He got 14 last time. He's more involved this time, although he was 23 attempts last time, so maybe not. But regardless, I'm just looking at this, pretty good, decent lineup. A little weakness some places, but nothing too crazy. Martial Law, Prescott should be solid. Freeman, pretty good going team. Pitta, I don't know if he'll repeat what he did last week. Coleman, it's very risky when you got Freeman and Coleman. It is LA, but LA's not terrible defense. I mean, that's probably the one part of them that's actually okay. Jets versus San Francisco, interesting play. We'll see what happens. But I think Ray Charles Moneyball gets the victory. But now that I'm thinking about it, both these teams have a bye. So this isn't a real matchup. I forgot that stupid ESPN wouldn't let Commissioner McFadden give these two teams byes. So this is not a real matchup. But if it was, I think Ray Charles Moneyball would win this one. This week, at least. So your real matchup is Peterson, Adrian Peterson versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Portals. And Peterson wants this victory. Now, remember something. So does Teenage Mutant Ninja Portals. Loser of this... So, while the winner does move on in the consolation bracket and has a chance of finishing the winner of that bracket, the losers of these go on to face next week in the El Sacco matchup. So you might be saying, oh, really? Well, what? Really? Oh, God, I forgot that's already a thing. Well, no. Both these teams are eligible for it. So we need to see who's going to be the person that goes on to the El Sacco and who goes on to the other one. So, looking at this, Peterson really has kind of had an unfortunate season. I think he would be a better player. Peterson goes down. If Peterson plays like he did last year, which no guarantee he would have, he'd be a pretty solid player still, I would think. And it would have definitely helped him here. I mean, Hyde and he had a pretty good team, top to bottom, when you think about Peterson in this lineup. I mean, everything kind of shifts around a little bit, but he looked like he had a decent team. Probably would have done better than he did, for sure. For sure. Definitely wouldn't be 6-7, maybe 7-6 instead. But, or maybe even higher. Maybe he's wins the whole league. I don't know. But he had a decent squad starting the year and just kind of had to deal with a bunch of shit. Roethlisberger missed a couple games, I believe, and just a bunch of shit. Teenage Mutant Ninja Portals, kind of a similar situation. He put a lot of his chips on DeAngelo Williams being the starter more than just the time that we already knew the first 3 games. Because Bell was out because of his suspension. Williams, he was kind of probably hoping that Bell would get in more trouble, or maybe he just wouldn't finish the season like he usually doesn't, and he would have a good play with DeAngelo Williams. Unfortunately, that did not happen, and he started having to play a running back game, and that kind of got him behind. Not to mention he loses Eric Decker at the receiver position, and Macklin, he's been injured on and off all year, and especially lately, and he didn't do anything like he used to do like last year. So, Bortles also struggled, so he's been playing Derek Carr, which has been decent. I mean, you can see he's been a good quarterback. Had a few bad weeks in there, though. So, just the way the cookie crumbles, I guess, but that's why these two teams are here. That being said, I think Peterson gets the victory here. He just has a better all-around team, whereas he's still struggling over here. And some of his better players have tough matchups, like Minnesota for TJ Yeldon. Hill might go off against Cleveland, that's true. But I don't think Carr's going off against KC. Although, what did he do last time they faced? I think they maybe faced already. Yeah, see, 9.8 points. That's not a good points total. So, I think that Peterson moves on in playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Portals, makes it to the Sacco Bowl, we'll call it. And this one looks like it'll be a little bit different. Hashtag wide receivers matter. Won last week. He's had some solid scores the last couple weeks. So fucking retarded. Gets his first or second win of the season. Just had a rough season. And you might be saying, well, why? What happened with these two teams? Well, he loses Jamal Charles. He was gone the beginning of the season. Had him a couple games, but in those couple games, he really didn't do anything. I mean, this week he did okay, but not really. And then he's been gone since. He's done. So that's really been his biggest downfall. Ryan Matthews didn't pan out the way he wanted him to. I mean, you can see he's been all over the board, had this huge game, but didn't really matter. It's got some other players here. I mean, you can see Cam Newton's not been who he was last year. Murray's been up and down. Gore has been solid. Edelman's been down and up. Nelson's been down and up. With wide receiver matter, yes, the injury to Charles hurt him, but the rest of these players also underperformed for a long time. So, with I'm so fucking retarded, it's clear to see why he's had a problem. Keenan Allen went on IR first week. Just really put a vice grip on his nuts. Doug Martin, too, hurt very early in the season, just came back. Sorry, my face is stuffy. Anyhow, then he's got AJ Green, who went out later in the season. I mean, because here's the thing. He could have made it in on points, even with the shitty start. He could have made it on points. But he needed some of these players to be playing and playing well, and they just kind of didn't. Des Bryant came back. He was injured for a little bit there. I think he was injured, 3 weeks he was gone. And then he came back and has performed relatively solid. Melvin Gordon's been great for him. Matt Forte, I mean, look at this team. This team, you didn't pick anyone up. Like, he's had Forte, Gordon, Bryant. Imagine if you throw in Green and Keenan Allen and Doug Martin. I mean, this team would have been stacked. He may have gone it all the way real easily if that, but that's could have been, should have been shit. So we're not going to talk about that. It's just unfortunate season for I'm so fucking retarded. Clearly had one of the best teams coming out of the draft. Just didn't work out for him. With that being said, I think hashtag wide receivers matter and him are going to have a very, very close matchup. Both coming off a victory going into the consolation bracket. And honestly, like my Asian friend Honest Lee says, I think so fucking retarded pulls off the upset. And I'm going to say it's upset, even though they got this close. 4-9 is still better than 2-11. Wide receiver matter has been pretty solid for the last few weeks. We're so fucking retarded. Finally won one last week. It wasn't like a crazy amazing score or anything. But I think he pulls out the victory this week. I mean, he's got Doug Martin versus New Orleans. Winston versus New Orleans. Forte versus San Fran. I mean, he's got some really, really good matchups over here that should work out for him. So we will see there. Over here, Newton versus San Diego's not bad or really good. Murray against KC, I don't think that's a good matchup. Gore against Houston last time put up 11 points. Not something crazy. Edelman against Baltimore. Baltimore's good defense, so I don't know if Edelman's going to do much. Nelson for Seattle, same thing. Eifert versus Cleveland should be good. Snead versus Tampa, same thing I'm going to say Tampa. They're decent defense lately. I mean, I'm sure someone on that team will do good, but I just don't know who, and it's hard for me to say it's going to be Willie Snead, especially when Willie Snead really hasn't done a whole lot lately. So, I mean, he had the 19-point against Denver, but otherwise, relatively quiet. Kenny Britt against Atlanta. Britt is up and down too. So, I'm going to go with I'm so fucking retarded, and that's going to be that. So, go here. Trans back. Whoa, full screen. So, there is your Week 13 wrap-up. Your playoff preview. or storyboard or whatever you want to call it, Annual Week 14, aka Round 1 of the playoffs preview show. So we're in the playoffs. There's not many weeks left of fantasy football, and that really makes my heart kind of break. Just kind of just shatter them to pieces. So, not to mention we're losing people. I mean, we got Rakestraw, who's already said he's not planning on coming back. Hopefully we can convince him to stay. We got freaking Aaron Barton, who's saying like he's retiring. Most likely. He said, we'll see. You got, Sean Kylo, who said that he doesn't know if he's coming back. We got, what's going on with this league? We got 3 people that might not be coming back. And then on top of it, we got Luke suggesting the replacement be Glenn. Are you crazy, man? Glenn? Like, I like Glenn. He's fine, but I don't know about this league. I mean, a lot of people in this league have a poor taste in their mouth from Glenn when he was here last time, shitting out all their picks in a very rude manner. So, and as Nick found out, a lot of thin-skinned people here. So, we gotta, I don't know. I've seen my league just crumbling before my eyes. But I will let you know, the commissioners let me know that there is already some people that he has for replacements if need be. So, or worst case, maybe we expand the league. How could you imagine that? We have people leave and then we make the league bigger? Oh, that'd be crazy. But probably not. Let's keep it a 12-team league. Nice, competitive, tight-knit league like we have. We're brothers here. That's what I say. In this league, you're a band of brothers. We give people shit. Some people get pissed. Some people don't. Whatever. We need to all come into a big hug. And this league needs to stick together. So keep that in mind, all you people that are thinking about walking out on Senor. All right? So, my ex-wife, she don't get no alimony. So keep that in mind. You're not going to walk away with anything. You're going to leave, and you're going to leave everything behind. This is a good league. So anyhow, that being said, good luck to everyone this week. Even the people on buys. Like, good luck. You can still win high score. Like, don't not set a lineup, because you can still win high score. Not mention, you will get fined. I will fine you. That is a rule. If you do not set a real lineup, you will get fined. Whether you have a matchup or not, you will be fined. So set a matchup or lineup, or you get fucking fined. Okay? Just set a lineup so you do not get fined. Okay? Simple as that. So good luck to everyone. Until next week, I hope you all have a good weekend. Adios!